I love, man, your level of awareness and just even how you're speaking about how your daughter has elevated that for you. Now I gotta ask, you brought R&B back, brother.
Appreciate it, man.
You brought R&B back because you resuscitated us because we it was dead. When it comes to like dating, love, like having a daughter, how do you balance that? Or even if you are, I know for me, I'll disclose. Uh, I feel like as a man, the more we expand emotionally, it becomes harder to date because you begin to discern, and I'm sure some of you guys, some of you ladies probably gonna, gonna have to, clutch your pearls, but you begin to discern that a lot of women are not as emotionally evolved as they think they are. They have just been dealing with men who are emotionally incompetent. Just Heal with Dr. J is going to be a space where we foster healing conversations, conversations that are life enriching, conversations that are going to provoke thought, that's going to provoke change, and also provide insight. And so that's what I'm excited about. Welcome back to another episode with Just Heal with Dr. J, and I'm your host, Dr. J. And listen, you can subscribe to the Just Heal Dr. J on YouTube, and you can also listen to Just Heal with Dr. J at the Black Effect podcast and also on iHeart Podcast or wherever you listen to podcasts at. But listen, today we're going to jump right into it. I want to welcome one of my favorite R&B artists to the healing community, my good brother Kenyon Dixon. Listen, if you haven't heard this brother music, go to Apple, wherever you listen to music, Spotify, go get his album. Listen, this brother is the R&B king to me. To me, I'm not finna argue with you, Negroes. So to me, man, my good brother, man, Kenyon, welcome, man. How you doing, brother?
Appreciate it, man. I'm good.
Man, listen. You have no idea, man, how honored I am to sit down and to chop it up with you. Your deluxe albums is probably one of my favorite
Thank
R&B
you,
albums.
man.
Everybody know I listen to it every day.
Yeah.
Love on Replay, that's my jam. Like I was in the
You was
Uber.
playing it when you walked in.
Yeah, I was playing it on
Yeah.
when I walked in, man. So, uh, this Just Heal with Dr. J, man, is really a space where I sit down and talk with individuals about their healing journey, mental health, just their life journey. And I just want to start with you as I ask every guest, how are you feeling, brother?
I'm feeling good, man. Um, Pacing myself. Got a lot going right now. A lot of anticipation for things. So I know that's a easy anxiety trigger. So I've been super mindful of that. Just making sure I'm like in the moment and not feeling like I gotta rush. But leaning into the fact that I'm prepared for all of these things. And
Yeah,
so
love that.
yeah, man, I'm feeling great. Sun's out,
Man, listen, you
can't
listen,
complain.
when you hit me up, you was like, Jay,
Yeah.
I hope you out here enjoying this LA
Feeling
weather,
wonderful.
man.
Despite my hoodie,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is beautiful weather, man. I love what you said about pace. And I want to pause right there because pace is not something that a lot of us know how to do, and particularly for men. And I'll
Yeah.
say for black men, because there is this anxiety to do today. There is this pressure to be, there's this pressure to perform
Yeah.
and to provide. And I love what you said is that I'm leaning into being present, but I'm prepared for everything that's coming.
Yeah.
And I think, brother, that's so powerful because to truly understand what healing is also to understand what pace is, man. And you, as an artist, who writes, who produce, who sings and does all the things. How important is pace for you?
Crazy important. I think, especially as an independent artist, have to throw that in there because I think
Yes.
that's a whole different world of artistry and being a creative. But I think the world of being an independent artist is all about patience and just timing. And so having to understand that and truly understand it, not just talk about understanding it, but
Yeah.
living it is something that is a huge benefit in that journey. So I've learned to pace myself and give myself grace and room to
Yeah.
explore and pivot in real time. Because if not, you'll be disappointed pretty often. I think even like considering the social factor of it all. We have social media, and every day we're online. We're looking at finished products of everything that's
Yeah,
happening, and
yeah,
nobody's seeing the process. So if you're
yeah,
not careful, I think it's easy to adapt this mindset that you immediately get to the goal and don't have to do any work. So I
man.
think that it's just being mindful of pacing and patience
Oh, that's
is
good.
yeah, it's extremely
That's
important.
good. That's good. And I love how you brought those two together. I think they work in tandem
Yeah, yeah,
because on patience, it's understanding how to wait, and pace is
yeah,
the rhythm in which you
yeah.
wait.
That's real.
You know what I mean? And so I love that part of it. And as an independent artist, how important is your mental health, Kenya?
Extremely important, man. We just as a you take on so many roles as an independent artist that aren't typical for most artists. You do so many things as an independent creative. I won't even make it specific to being an artist, but just as an entrepreneur or any type of independent creative, you're typically having to do and play a lot more roles than you would if you had proper resources. And so I think yeah, just doing everything independently. You just want to prevent yourself from being overwhelmed, because I think when you become overwhelmed, you get in the way of your progress and your process, and you
Mhm.
start to lose how I talked about preparation earlier. You kind of forget that you were prepared for some of these things, because when they're all happening at once, I think it's tough to see them for what they are. Instead, you just
Yeah.
feel like stuff is piling on.
Man, listen. Listen. You're doing a lot of tandem. Dancing with the words, and I love that because uh, process, and progress. Man,
Yeah,
again, I think they work in tandem,
yeah,
right?
I
I
agree.
mean, because the process is you're in, the crux of it, and then you have the progression of it is the flow of it,
Yeah,
and so. Um, when you think about that, and I would love to stay right there, man, because there's so many people that are in the creative space that I have provided therapy for. They're overwhelmed, and they're overwhelmed not only just by the many hats that they have to wear.
yeah,
Sometimes they're overwhelmed by the gift,
yeah,
because sometimes the gift can feel so heavy, and you have the gift as a artist, knowing what to say, when to say it, and how to say it. What is your process when you because if I'm just having a fan moment when I listen to Deluxe, right,
yeah, yeah.
and I listen to that album has such a flow from the start to finish. What was your process as you laid the tracks? And if you could, what was your mental state as you were in that process? And I love, listen, Ken, I
Yeah,
love how you taking these breaths before you
yeah, man.
answer,
You got
because yeah, I
yeah,
love that, man.
yeah, yeah. Uh, I think with my music in general, I've really I finally fully understand, and nobody other than God, nobody knows more about my gift than me, because I have to
Come
live
on,
with it.
come on.
So I think when it comes to the music and everything that I put out, I trust myself and the amount of time that it takes, because I feel like I know better than
Yeah,
anybody else. And I think that that's the reason why it's effective to other people.
yeah. And let me
Yeah.
interject. How did you learn how to trust yourself?
Failing, trial and error, just doing things that I thought worked. And sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. And you just kind of take the median of that,
Yeah,
and you find your formula.
yeah.
Yeah.
Was when you found your formula, was that healing for you?
In a way, it gave me a deeper level of understanding, but it also gives you a deeper sense of purpose, which then adds more responsibility on top of what you're doing.
Ooh, man, because everybody's always looking for purpose,
Yeah,
but nobody realize the responsibility that comes with purpose,
it's heavy.
because the responsibility to not just work in it and operate it, but it's to sustain it.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna just let that sit. It's to how do you sustain purpose when it's heavy? And I couldn't imagine as an artist, and I know I've written 4 books and currently writing the 5th one. And I look at it the same thing, because to be able to create art from words and to take the words of your art and to create songs, that responsibility at times seems weighty because it's like,
Yeah,
dang, I got to write something else or I got to put out another album. Do you ever feel that pressure?
I do. I do feel that, especially when you get a certain type of reception to what you're putting out. And I think the type of music I make is there's a like a longing for it. It's not what's popular in the space. So I think there's an extra layer of pressure there because people are always waiting for that because they don't get you from anybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So that does yeah, that can become pretty stressful. But again, in those moments, I just lean back into understanding that the reason it's so effective is because I trust myself and I don't rush my process.
yeah. And man, even as you're sitting here, I sense this element of ease that a lot of brothers don't have. I've sat with many brothers, and you can feel the weight, you can feel the anxiety, um, you can also feel the fear. And they're not saying fear as they're afraid of,
Yeah, yeah.
us, but you can feel the fear of like, man, I don't know what's going to happen with my life. I don't know what life is going to bring. And then sometimes you can also feel the confusion
Yeah.
because brothers haven't discovered their purpose and they haven't discovered the responsibility that we have with carrying the weight of what God has placed on us.
Yeah.
And I think that is so powerful because for so many men, this is why I created this space so brothers can see you and because oftentimes we're looking at the artist, we're looking at the actor, we're looking at the CEO, and we don't get to have these conversations with them of what their processes is because we're seeing a finished product.
Yeah.
Now, I follow you on IG, and you express a lot through your clothes, your fashion, your daughter, all those different things. And I can tell there's days where, cause, and that's just who I am. I could tell days you just like, man, I'm just posing because this is what I got to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just part of the. In the same way with me, uh, um, when you take the social media, what is your approach as an artist to sort of safeguard your mental?
I really look at social media for what it is, which is just a tool to promote and showcase your art. I think I've disassociated from it being like real life. It's
Yeah,
literally just a promotional tool.
yeah,
And so I think when you understand that, it helps. Where's where you have to guard yourself though is considering how anything could be triggering. Um, as soon as you open it up, you don't know what you're gonna see, and
man,
you
don't
have
know.
no control over that.
No.
And it could literally be the one thing that you were hoping that you didn't see that day that could make
Yeah,
you spiral. So
yeah,
I'm just I've kind of created this boundary between me
yeah.
and social media to where I share what I want to share, and you can you can be exposed to things and not like digest it and take it in.
Yeah,
And I think that that's something that I've started to understand. Everything you see doesn't require energy. Sometimes you just keep scrolling. And that's also like applicable in life though.
exactly.
Like you encounter a lot of people in a lot of situations that just out of religion almost you feel like you have to engage and you don't,
You
and that's
don't.
something
Yeah,
that I've learned when it comes to social media that has helped me keep my mental health intact.
yeah. And particularly like because like I've even noticed for you, you'll showcase your daughter in certain moments.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
it's
all of that
important.
intentional?
Absolutely, man. There are a lot of like crazy people out here.
Yeah, yeah,
And so yeah, when it comes to just your children and like social media is not parenting my child. So I think that's also, we live in a society where people love input. They love to feel like they have influence over things. It doesn't reach into my household, so
man,
I'm very
that's so
mindful to
true.
make sure that this for her is also just a tool or something that's fun if she decides to engage with it, but it has no influence in our
Yeah,
real life.
yeah, and that's and it's profound to hear a black father, black man, and a man of your caliber to say social media is not parenting my child.
Yeah, man. I know it's a unpopular opinion
But
based on
but
everything
it
you
needs to be
see.
popular though.
Yeah, I agree, man. Yeah, and I have a great village of, like, my brotherhood is strong with my, all my bros that are fathers. We kind of all adapt that same mindset, so it's kind of easy to uphold in my circle because we all are actively taking care of our kids and making sure that they're experiencing like an actual reality and not this like augmented experience based on what happens online.
Yeah, man, that's powerful. And your brotherhood, how important is that for you
Oh
mentally?
man.
I know for me,
Yeah.
man, my brothers, that's everything.
Yeah, it saves my life, man. We talk about it all the time, but I'm grateful to have the men in my life that I have and the brotherhood that we have, because there's one thing I've learned about accountability is that you have to have different levels of it, and so
Yes,
to be a man, you also have to have that mirror and people who can see you and meet you where
where
you
you
are.
are.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so that has been a lifesaver. Things that, just as an artist, online, like I said, I've learned to disassociate myself from it, but online is a tough space for creatives. You have so many unwarranted opinions and just things that come from bad places for no reason. And so I we kind of just send stuff back and forth, and there have for sure been times where I may have wanted to respond to something, or, like, you know what I mean, you just hit the chat, get it out there, and
Yeah.
it keeps you from
Yeah, yeah,
from just saying some stuff you might
yeah,
regret. So
yeah,
yeah, I'm grateful for it, man.
yeah. Because sometimes what I say is for us as brothers, it is being able to look to the side of you and know that there's somebody standing next to you.
Yeah,
Because for us as men, and when we're building, we build shoulder to shoulder, not face to face. So when I can
that's
stand
good.
shoulder to shoulder with you,
Yeah,
I am now taking the responsibility to guard the side that I'm standing on. And I think the more men have that, we're going to see men expand emotionally. Because I can always tell a brother who don't have a lot of friends.
yeah,
Like when I hear dudes like, nigga, it's just me, you know what I'm saying, bro? Like I don't deal with nobody,
yeah,
bro. It's just me. I solo
yeah,
dolo. And I'm like, you won't be here for
yeah.
long.
Get somebody, man.
Like you like you got to have somebody. You need community. And for the brothers that are watching, brother, you need community. The worst place for a man to be left is left alone with his thoughts. Because if your thoughts are unhealthy, your thoughts are unproductive, and your thoughts are not moving you toward something greater than yourself, you're going to find yourself succumbing to those thoughts.
Yeah.
You know, and I love that for you, just as a father and as a brother. uh I want to ask you this: as a father who has a daughter, uh how has that changed you as a man?
A lot. It has changed me a lot, man. I didn't realize it until I was like in the thick of parenting. I didn't realize how much it healed me as well. I lost my father like early on, and my mother raised uh six of us who were in the house together
Wow.
by herself. And so I think you don't realize, and part of it may be ego. Every man would like to think that he has the tools to figure out whatever he needs to without consulting anybody else. So I think you don't realize how that lack of a father figure affects you. For me, I didn't realize it until I started parenting because I thought I'm pretty level headed, and I know how to listen and
Right.
exchange correctly. And I started to recognize a lot of just things I would see in her just started to like bring back different instances and feelings that I had as a child. And by being able to guard and work her through her feelings correctly, it was like healing for me because I was able to explore those parts that I didn't really know existed, or at least that I thought I had worked through.
Hmm.
And uh yeah, really confront them and figure out what was happening through me being the father I desired for her. So yeah, it really
Ooh, that's
it
good.
helped a lot.
Because sometimes there are parts of us that are unconsciously exhibiting parts that are
Hmm.
unhealed. And sometimes I tell parents, sometimes you get healed through the children.
Yeah, a lot of times. Yeah,
You know what I mean? And the children now become a conduit to where they're bringing healing. Their healing is coming through them
yeah,
to you. That's also restoring the little boy, the little girl, in those spaces.
yeah.
And the moment that you recognize that there were parts of you being healed through your daughter, what was that like, man?
It was an incredible feeling. It also goes back into that space of responsibility, because then it made me become like hyper conscious of everything I did.
Yeah,
Um and having a little girl, and she's extremely intuitive, and also like very sensitive, and just t- it it made me be intentional about my every interaction with her, because I think I've begun to understand that I'm beginning to understand that she's she's just like wise beyond her years, but in a way to where, like, you think about a child, and sometimes you talk to them or you communicate in a way that, because you think they don't understand you, you're
yeah,
just a child. And I'm starting to realize now that
that-
she understands
yeah,
a lot more than I thought.
yeah. So
So
it pulls us out this Google Gaga,
yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah. Did that in some way kind of increase your own awareness in self?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it spreads for sure. And kind of triggers all of the rest of your interactions, because that has made me mindful. I'll say the reason it has made me mindful, and the reason it triggers your interactions, because when you're an active parent, that is your constant. So I think wherever you are practicing who you are,
Yeah,
that is gonna change, and it should affect how you communicate with other people. So because I brought clarity to the way that I communicated and interacted with her, naturally it made me be hyper aware when I'm talking to other people, and I listened differently and I paid attention differently. Because I think also children, because by nature there's a lot of stuff that they don't understand, and they don't have the same reasoning behind their actions. But that made me, now when I talk to adults or I see certain things that even may be offensive, my first thought, instead of speaking, is now to try and understand, like,
yeah,
why why do I think you did that, or like what's the pattern here that
yeah, yeah.
that I can pick up on. So
Yeah, and I think children that there's a level of consciousness that comes from, I have three nieces and two nephews,
yeah,
and what I've learned from being around them, and they're very aware of what I do. And their uncle, like, if you ask them what does your uncle
yeah,
do, they'll be like, "Oh, he heals people," But
yeah,
then they'll be quick to tell you. My niece said kids will come up to her and start talking about their problem, and she'll be like, "I'm not your therapist. You
yeah,
might need to call my uncle."
yeah,
But there's a level of awareness that I think if more adults could lean into not just the children, but the inner child in them,
yeah,
it also awaken, as you said, there's some triggering because there would be some triggers because if you're giving something to your daughter or son that you didn't have, there's also parts of you that uh mourn
yeah,
the absence of, man, I'm being a dad who's present and my dad left me. Or I'm being a mom who's present and my mom never was emotionally available. And I think, if we can lean into those spaces with children, like when I started practicing, I only wanted to work with children
hmm,
and teens. And all of my uh, classmates and colleagues was like, well, why do you want to work with teens? I said, my understanding, my theory that if you work with teens and work with kids, you can quickly identify the kids and adults because most adults are just big
yeah,
kids that are having a crisis
yeah,
or a temper tantrum. That's what it is.
yeah,
Because when they come in and they sit down on the couch, man, I'm sitting down with a couple. It's not the couple, it's the two kids that are fighting.
Right.
But it's the adults that are having a disagreement, but it's the kids who are having the issue. Because when you leave or you say, "Hey, I can't take this conversation no more," the little kid says, "Oh, they're gonna leave. I'm feel
Uh-huh.
abandoned."
Yeah.
But
It's true.
and because the little kids are always trying to protect themselves, which we get fight or flight. But I love, man, your level of awareness and just even how you're speaking about how your daughter has elevated that for you. Now I gotta ask, you brought R&B back, brother.
Appreciate it, man.
You brought R&B back because you resuscitated us because we it was dead. When it comes to like dating, love, like having a daughter, how do you balance that? Or even if you are, I know for me, I'll disclose. Uh, I feel like as a man, the more we expand emotionally, it becomes harder to date because you begin to discern, and I'm sure some of you guys, some of you ladies probably gonna, gonna have to, clutch your pearls, but you begin to discern that a lot of women are not as emotionally evolved as they think they are. They have just been dealing with men who are emotionally incompetent. So when I meet a brother, like you
Yeah.
just sat here, you just tandem, what you talked about, patience and process. Then you talked about process and progress, or patient and pace. That's what it was.
Yeah, yeah.
That that's not normal. So, they used to do like, what I'm saying, like like what the vibe for the night.
Yeah.
How was that for you, man?
It's been cool, man. I think I'm in a space of just enjoying myself. I think that's another thing having children teaches you to just be present and live in the moment. And I think in dating, whether it's you know or even if you're in a relationship, I think there's still space for living in the moment. And so yeah, I think it's it can be a tough space to navigate because I think that everybody has a different level of awareness and different intentions. And I always say I think people no longer want to take the time to get to know somebody. What we talked about when it comes to process, nobody
Yeah,
wants that process. We want to go straight to
y-
whatever the goal is, whatever the
man, come on,
picture is that we have in our head. We tend to disregard the things that we see from people
man, come
that
on,
disqualify them from what we want
come on.
because we want that thing so bad that we're not willing to pivot in real time when it's and there's two sides to that because sometimes what you want is not necessarily specifically what's best for you, so you may have room to be accepting of some different behaviors that may challenge you in a good way,
Yeah,
uh to want better for yourself.
exactly.
So yeah, I think just being open and in that moment, I want to be as open and honest and loving and understanding as possible because I'm also having to teach a child what to expect when they get into this space. And so I think
That part.
being my healthiest self in all of these spaces, but especially a space that is centered around love is important because the people around you are very impressionable, especially children that you're raising.
Yeah, and there's such an innocence uh, with children that we have to really provide a level of care and protect and guard,
Yeah,
because most of us, if we're dealing with trauma, it's because our innocence was compromised, and I love that you are guarding that in such a way to where you're allowing her to see the reality of life and also the reality of you, as a man. Um, I always ask every guest this, Kenyon. This show is titled "Just Heal with Dr. J." And this question, I love to see the
yeah.
response of people when I ask this question. And I'll ask it to you. What does healing means to you?
What does healing mean? That's layered. It's layered because I don't feel like there is like a standing definition because I think healing has to be adaptable as you change. So it really depends on it's a like a ever moving goal. And you can't really hit it as long as you're alive because there's always something that you're having to work through. But I think in theory, healing is really finding or getting back to yourself, whatever that may mean to you.
Yeah.
And that's why I say I think it's not like one definition, because somebody's definition of healing could be completely left based on what they
Right.
desire.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But I think healing may, if if we look at it from a spiritual perspective, I think it's just getting back to who God says you are.
Yeah. Come on.
Um,
Yeah.
because I think there's who you think you are,
Yeah.
and then there's who you're actually called to be that you've been since you've existed.
Exactly.
And so I think it may be a matter of just finding that innocence again.
Yeah. And what I'm hearing you is say, what I'm hearing you say is that healing is really getting back to the place before you experienced pain.
It's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And it's
Yeah.
not it's not it's not a linear it's not a
No.
linear
No.
process. A lot of curveballs, man. But yeah, I think I would say that that's what it is. Because you really do spend your it's really getting to be more specific. It's getting back to yourself before you understood choice. Because I believe that choice is
Man.
where life
Oh, dude.
become
You said it.
became complicated.
That's a word. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I overheard a guy talking like this may have been like years ago, and I was just intrigued. He was talking about how um he was kind of making a comparison from like humans to like animals in the way of they only know their purpose. So he's like a bird just knows to fly. They don't second guess anything. Like a bee knows to go get the honey and like, but as humans, we've developed choice. So now we have these obstacles that were not meant to be in our way because we always wonder if there's something else we should be doing or like, so I think healing speaks to getting back to that place, like pre-choice, and just pre-complication
Yeah.
and just being able to be free.
Man. I love that. Healing is just being able to be free. My brother, I could sit here, man, and man, and just, bro, converse with you, man, brother. I just want to say, man, thank you for not just your gift, but thank you for who you are as a person.
I appreciate it, man.
Um, for what you put out into the world is just an extension that you get that we get to experience you through your music. But today I just got to experience the man, and I just want to say, brother, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for taking out the time, man, to come to the healing community, man, and for us, man, there isn't a designated place. We just pull up anywhere,
Yeah,
and wherever
I
we
love
at,
it.
it's the community.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And so, brother, I just want to wish, man, you much success and that God keeps his hand on your journey, keeps his hand on you, and that everything you touch prosper, man. And that's my prayer for you, brother.
yes, sir. I
Yes, sir.
receive it, man. Thank you.
Man, absolutely, man. Listen, y'all know, like I hate to cut these conversations short. I hear so many of you are saying, like, Dr. J, can you make these interviews longer? Talk to Kursion, my producer. I'm trying to push him to make them longer, but he's sitting over here doing this and doing all that. But anyway, we got to get my good brother Kenyon out of here. Listen, go follow Kenyon Dixon. Go grab all of his album, his music. This brother here is R&B. That's all I'm gonna say. He's R&B, man. I mean, he eats, breathes, sleeps R&B. His presence is R&B. I mean, this guy's loved, man, and I just enjoy my time spending with him today. I just want to encourage you: go and subscribe. Don't just come to the healing community. Be a part of it. Subscribe to Just Heal with Dr. J. And don't forget that you can listen to this audibly on the Black Effect podcast and iHeart podcast as well. And until next time, remember, healing is a journey and wholeness is the destination.